Ian Clayton, the man with the football. Brian Bullis, his partner this afternoon. Ian Clayton, of course, was the man at Western Oval that infamous afternoon recently, but one of the VFL's top umpires. Great to see him back.
Interesting, Peter, before the game started, Craig Davis is lining up at the back line. The Swans was named up forward. And there's quite a few Sydney players walking around without opponents on the Melbourne forward line. So Melbourne have pulled a few switches. Warren Dean is down at the full back line, and obviously will try and run through the centre of the ground.
I don't know what he's waiting for. Now everything seems to be in readiness. First quarter from the Sydney Cricket Ground. Sydney and Melbourne. Not surprisingly, the umpire throwing it in the air. Dwyer got the first tap down. Murphy. Parsons was dragged off the ball pretty expeditiously. The umpires found a free kick. It's going the Swans' way. And the recipient's going to be Healy. And it'll be interesting to see how the two Healys shape up this afternoon. Chance for the Swans to go forward through Carroll. That's a long bomb down to full forward. Oh, sensational mark by Coleman.
It was sensational, but did he infringe when he left the ground? I think he did. Had he have not taken that mark, an obvious free kick. We'll see here on replay. Coleman caught behind there. Hand on the shoulder of Stephen O'Dwyer.
Well, they seem to be able to get away with that, Don, these days, don't they?
The umpires umpire for the crowd.
Coleman only 15 metres out, has made no mistake. The Swans off to a great start.
Well, Glenn Coleman, who started his games at Fitzroy, originally from Sydney, a player that can do the unexpected, but also can let you down when you don't think he will. And here's this high ball coming in from Dennis Carroll. And obviously, this is the way that Sydney have been instructed to play, with the big fellows up there. Byrne and also Coleman. A quick kick out of the centre. You put it up high, the big men will bring it to ground, and the little men should crumb it.
Back into the muddy centre. Dwyer this time hits it straight down, but Williams gains possession.
This is Lovett across half back. Back towards Melbourne's half forward line. Carroll's in the road. He takes the mark there. Carroll out wide, squaring the ball. Fripp just forward of half back now. Towards centre half forward goes the kick. Lovett will come over the top. Should have. As a result, the mark is taken in front by Morwood. Lovett, a token gesture to spoil from behind. And now Morwood could score from here. He'll kick from just inside the 50-metre line.
It's a pretty good kick too, Dennis, as a rule.
Back in the side today, Morwood from 48 metres. Hasn't got the carry, right on the line. Fisted through by White. So behind. But Sydney looking aggressive. Melbourne just one kick to date. Hughes towards the outer side. High kick. Morwood over the top, fisting away. This is Wilson roving the pack. Down towards half forward goes the kick. Knocked away by Henwood. Coming through quickly. Eichel goes down towards full quarter. Was it Lovell? It was Lovell who drove it in. But Carter takes the mark and goes towards the outer side. And the mark is taken out there by Fripp.
Fripp at the right half-back flank. Goes long, which is the best way to play this SCG. In the back that will be. Free kick will be going to Stretch. Against Tony Morwood. Fairly blatant, one would have thought. This goes out wide. Chance for Fripp again. The two number 33s. The Melbourne captain Greg Healy behind Fripp. Ball still in play. Williams leading in the race for the ball. Tries to fire out a hand pass. Grabbed too high. He'll take the free kick. Now it's a play on call. The advantage rule is paid. And the Swans deep into attack again. Coleman, mark number 2.
Bill Spalding indicating to the umpire that he thought Coleman pushed him in the back as he took that mark.
Much too far out to score for Glenn Coleman. 55 to 60 metres from goal. And thumped through by White for another behind. 1 goal to the Sydney Swans, and Melbourne yet to score. As we saw at the Nissan ground report, though, at the start of the game, or just prior to it, no advantage either end with the wind. Mark taken by Yates, just upward from the back pocket. Straight down the ground, over the head of Cordy. And he comes up with the ball. It was well played. At the
Now, that is not reportable. I will go he.
Gee whiz.
Oh, come on, umpire Clayton. He was right there, saw to, he hit line, and all he pays is a free kick.
Yeah, I was watching that too. It started with a shepherd, then got worse. Here's Stretch. Still, Melbourne have the ball. Stretch goes deep. It's all Swans down there. Parsons takes the mark, but it's going to be a free kick, I fancy. No. Yes, it will be. We'll come back to Carter. Parsons wanting to go, but Carter will get the free. Umpire Clayton. That's unfortunate for him. Shades of Western Oval. Here's Carter with the ball. Players are picking on him.
Consistent.
Grandstand wing. That's all you ask from umpires. Offhands taken by Morwood. Down towards half forward goes the kick. Awkward bounce. Chance for Davis behind. Tries to deflect it across towards Healy. This is Newport in defence. Back along the grandstand side. Our broadcast side. Coming through strongly Roberts. And he forces the ball towards the boundary line. It's out of bounds and we'll have a throw in. Roberts injured last week. Came back onto the ground after taking a heavy knock. In the foreground, working hard, Michael Lockman. One down by O'Dwyer. Murphy towards the forward pocket. Lovett fist towards the boundary. It's out of bounds. We'll have a throw in. So the Swans starting well. 1-2. The Demons yet to score. O'Dwyer, who's been a star this season so far, goes down to do the ruck work. And Byrne comes up to join him. Byrne in front. O'Dwyer indecisively. Down went Healy. This is Davis close to the boundary line. Yates cleverly. Socket off the ground by Healy. Wilson goes to ground too. It's out of bounds and another throw in.
Boundary throw in. Left half forward flank for the Swans. Breaking away for the Demons is Newport to Wilson. Wilson over the top with a bad hand pass intended for Yates. Parsons comes out with the ball. Mitchell breaks one tackle, well shepherded by Carroll, and well delivered two to Craig Davis. Davis still left half forward, and it goes into the pocket, which is perhaps not the best way to play this ground, but Carroll has the mark importantly. Carroll 55 out from goal. Would need to be a very, very good kick to get that close. Spiral punt, the only answer. Morwood on the boundary line. Gone for the pass. Not a good one. Tui sandwiched. And the Demons will get clear. The ball driven up towards centre field, the muddy centre of the SCG. Murphy, but the umpires found a free kick going Melbourne's way. It'll go to Greg Healy. So a bad piece of play back there by Morwood. As it turned out, the idea perhaps was correct. High flyers needed, knocked away by Carter. Williams to Bolton, the two runners. And they've got big Parsons now, a little bit of indecision. Finally sees Bolton still moving down the ground well. Chips it in short to half forward. It does indeed pay to play in front. Roberts gets the hand pass. Roberts inside 50, shoots off target. White can't do much about that one. One behind. The Swans maybe wasting a few opportunities up forward.
Good play then by young Roberts. Oh, I shouldn't say young Roberts. He's been around quite a while, Ian Roberts. Running down the ground, kicking that point.
Ball back up towards half back or half forward, whichever you like. There's Lovell. It's it over to little Jackson, and Jackson goes for the pass.
Lyon takes the mark. That was a good mark. Tumbling mark. He's at left half forward. About 70 metres out from goal. The ground very good. Lyon's kick is very good. It goes long down towards full forward. Off hands. Opportunity wide of the pack for Melbourne. Healy went down. The ball goes towards the boundary line. Jarred across. No, in fact, it snuck through for a behind. Melbourne's first score. They trail by 8 points. Pull back with Rod Carter, the veteran. If you'll pardon the pun, inclined to go down the middle. Long kick, massive kick. Right beside the centre circle it pitches. They battle after it. At the base of all of that was Thripp. Cordy with an opportunity. Jackson emerges with the ball. Goes in short. Good pass. Steins drops it. Opportunity for Bolton. Good tackle. Drags him off the ball. Bolton battles again with Lyon. A lot of endeavour there, but Stein should have taken that mark. Umpire Clayton to ball it up. On the line of the square, the attacking side of centre for the Demons. Steins will do the ruck work. Parsons in front. Steins reaching over the top. Jackson out of the congestion, only as far as Cordy. Cordy takes the mark, plays on quickly, lays it off to Carter on the overlap. He goes out wide, intended for Tui. Now he can run around the outer side, goes towards half forward. Morwood, he takes the mark. Morwood looking dangerous.
Yeah, I certainly missed him against Carlton. In front is O'Dwyer, knocked away by Cordner. Chance down there for Johnson. There he is again. 3 marks. That might have been touched off the boot. It was. Carroll decides to play on. Long kick by the skipper. Could almost be a score. It will be, but it's no, it hit the behind post. Now it's out of bounds, and the throw-in will take place. Swans left forward pocket. Boundary throw in. Byrne battles some smaller players, and there's about the smallest on the ground, Ricky Jackson. Jackson breaks clear, goes out very wide again, looking for and finding Yates. Yates at the half-back flank. At the centre wing, good spoil by Carroll to see the ball safely over the boundary line to keep it away from Steins. One of the informed players this year, and I guess would have to be polling well in Brownlow contention. And you can see why. Good hip and shoulder by Cordy. Jackson and he wrestle for the ball. We'll see a bounce from umpire Clayton on centre wing.
Cordner coming off. What's he done? He doesn't look too well. Meantime, back on centre wing. Parsons over the top to Mitchell. He's surrounded. Healy. Jackson in trouble, deep trouble. Roberts. Mitchell towards half forward goes the kick. This is Lovett, surrounded, confronted by Murphy, off the ground by Healy. Intelligent football down towards half forward. Foot race back. Johnson coming up from the back pocket was White. Good shepherd from Johnson. White's away. One bounce and his second. Must be that number 27, like Mark Zanotti. White long down towards full forward. He's been knocked off for going too far. Or was it an illegal shepherd? I think it was the former. He ran further than the 15 metres. Well, umpire Bullis was pretty quick on the whistle there. Sean White pulled up in front of the Hill stand. Short one to Williams. Williams inside the centre square. Intelligent kick. Beautiful kick, if you don't mind. Davis on a lead. That was centimetre perfect.
They know how to play this ground. They know when to block it up, when to open it up, and I'm just fascinated looking from our vantage point the way they can open up their forward line at whim. They block it up on the back line and create havoc up there, and they're able to get the ball away very easily.
Davis right through the middle. The second goal is on the board for Sydney.
14 points the difference in favour of the Sydney Swans. Player there, Parsons, just about had his head dragged off. Wilson, good long kick. Fine mark. Cordy doing some useful work across the half-back line. He'll have to go short here. He's got Carter. Doesn't let him down. Takes it in front of Lyon. Carter runs his full distance. Up over the centre line. Eishold tries to break clear. Not having much success in that regard. Steins gets it back to the skipper. Greg Healy, oh, beautiful smother. And a chance now for Murphy to capitalise on that. The hand pass away to Coleman, who kicked their first goal. Up to Morwood. Could have almost grabbed that had he had a second chance. Morwood again, bad hand pass. Intercepting was Newport. Back into the glue pot. Wilson already looking dangerous. Out to Lovell. On the run out there at left half forward is Earl Spalding. Not a particularly good kick, but a chance for a goal. Picked up by Campbell. Won't be a score again. Cordy, as I said, doing some useful work. When the ball is hustled over the boundary line by Tripp, and we'll see a boundary throw in about 25 out.
Well, they look ready this afternoon, the Sydney Swans. They're going about it very well indeed. Aided by some errors by Melbourne. Spalding's kick coming in wasn't a good one. Parsons in front, definitely behind there by Steins. This is Carroll with the run of it. Ample time to Cordy. He goes around the boundary line. Another very good kick. Lockman at his fingertips to it. Couldn't drag it in. Boundary throw in. Michael Lockman on the ground now. He started on the interchange bench. 2-3-15 the Swans. The Demons one behind. The muddied Michael Parsons. Steins works his way to the front. Wins it down. Intercepted by Mitchell. Beautifully out to Williams. Pushes Eichhold away. The hand pass not a particularly good one. Taken by Mitchell to Parsons. Into the path of Williams. Williams on centre wing. Storming goalward. Not a good kick. Spalding for his hands. Coleman. Great vision over the top. Bolton. This is Davis. Davis centres the ball. High flyers required. Tripp was up. Couldn't hang on. Morwood on the ground. At close quarters, Lockman couldn't get it. Dwyer tried to soccer it. Tripp's got it now. Tries to sell a dummy in there. Nobody was buying. Tripp goes again. Paddles it out towards Morwood. Lockman socket off the ground by Dean. It goes out towards the outer side wing. Socket back by Toohey. Trying to work a 1-2. He's claimed out there by Lovell. Will it be a free kick? Thought it should have been. No free. Newport's got the ball from half back. He kicks towards half forward. Carroll's up in front. Waiting behind this is Parsons. Healy. His brother arrives on the scene, and so did Lyon. The ball is jarred free. Lyon goes again. Picked up by Healy. And his brother collide. Carroll, meantime, feeds it out wide. This is Cordy to Roberts. Roberts in the middle. He's got some time. Hops for the right foot long towards full forward. Up down there was Byrne. White waiting behind. White over the ball. Needs support. Davis goes in. Johnson comes away with it.
And Johnson showing a good turn of speed from right back pocket. And when I say speed, even Bolton couldn't catch him. It gives you an idea of how quickly he was moving. Graham Yates on centre wing. That's almost 50. Take away the almost it was. Crowd doesn't like it. Yates might have played for it a bit, Don, do you think, or was that right?
Well, I think I'll agree with umpire Clayton on that occasion.
He's got a chance to score, so indeed it may prove costly. A chance for Melbourne's first goal. He'll be kicking from about the 50-metre line. Lead is on. The mark is there. Slung down. That
That's another 50 metres.
Lyon.
Oh.
No. Well, that,
You're kidding me.
He is.
you have to.
I have to.
And a little bit of a box on. Well, some pushing and shoving. Yates decides to not go on with it. It'll be right on the goal line, of course, because he was at the 50 line before.
You just can't afford to do what Wayne Henwood did then. There could have been the chance that Gary Lyon may have kicked inaccurately towards goal, but this time this was a lay-down misère.
They've just given up 100 metres is what they've done.
It's a goal.
Ground here, Sydney, and the way to play it is going straight up the centre.
8 points the difference, knocked down by Steins, but Sydney winning it out of the centre where Williams so far has been brilliant. He's looking for Byrne. Almost had it too. Now a chance for Lockman. It's high, not much distance in the kick. Morwood.
Oh.
White tried to soccer it clear, could have been dangerous. Booted by Mitchell, I think it was. 1 point. So the Swans with still more of the opportunities and the play up forward. 6 effective scoring shots to 2. And of course, Melbourne's only goal came from 2 consecutive 50-metre penalties. Steins went to punch it, but it goes to Yates, who decides to play on. Gets grabbed. Was it too low by Murphy? The call is play on. Eichhold grabbed, caught for mine. No, says the umpire. Good tackle by Williams nonetheless. And it will be a bounce.
Bounce down inside the centre square. Sydney's way slightly. Steins with great strength does nicely to stretch from half back, goes out wide, intended for Lyon. That was a very good kick, and Lyon goes back to take the mark and could almost get 50 again. No. In fairness to the defender there, Cordy was, I think, very aware that Lyon may have been trying to move on, and I think the umpire is seeing it that way. Short pass from Lyon to Newport, who takes the mark inside 50. They've all become very 50 conscious. I think Newport looking for one that time.
That deserved an Oscar.
So Newport will kick from about the 50-metre line. 9 points the difference. Melbourne trail. Good looking kick. Very good looking kick. He puts it through. Interesting game of football, this one. Thrown up by umpire Bullis. Clean possession to Steins. He boots it out towards right half forward. Leading in the race is Carroll. Fists it away to Murphy. Nice work by Murphy. He was taken high and again down he goes.
That has to be something in that, surely.
50
metres. Murphy was in fact paid the first one.
He was, that's right.
He slowed down a bit for the second one. I don't think he thought Newport was going to go through that. He did. He went through with the tackle. So here's Murphy. Down towards left half forward. Having earned this kick. The sun breaks through as Murphy goes in short, intended for Davis, knocked away by Hughes, taken by Bolton. Bolton 40 metres out from goal, goes with the left foot. He's off target and through it goes for a minor score.
String of behinds may prove costly. 2-5 to 2-1. John Northey coaching against a club that he had dealings with before, of course. Murphy waits at the back, over the top. The mark is taken by Dean, and a good one at that. In fact, he might have hurt a teammate down there in Yates. Kick is going to Sydney nonetheless. Recipient is Healy. Drops a little bit short. Morwood shoots out the hand pass. Too long for Coleman. He lumbers after it. That's out of bounds on the full. Now who kicked it? Boundary umpire said no. Okay. Steins at the back, wins it down, booted up to Yates. He seems to have recovered okay. Picked up by Murphy, tries to get clear of Wilson. That's rather difficult at the best of times. Stretch a little bit late on the scene. Morwood killing him. Inside 50, shoots, long kick, looks good, is there, goal! Great kick from Tony Morwood. And the two players back today, Don, Morwood and Williams, playing well.
But what aided Tony Morwood on that occasion is Stephen Stretch. He's not playing close enough. He just gave him 10 yards on that occasion. It's just too much. You can't afford to give a forward a yard. And here's the high ball from Murphy. Murphy spotted Morwood out by himself. You can see how far Stretch was from behind. Made a desperate effort, but bounced off. He should have claimed Morwood Stretch. And on he went. Another goal.
Knocked down by Byrne. The Swans doing well at the bounces so far. Free kick going their way. The recipient will be Gerard Healy, and a chance to put them deep into attack again.
Melbourne needing a bit more from Brian Wilson in the middle. Healy goes out wide, but the umpire indicating he wasn't behind the mark. So the umpires need to take a firm hold of this game. It's been a little wayward. And Healy right in the mud patch. What a fine player he's been for the Sydney Swans. Long into the forward line goes the kick. Steins in from the side, not in the contest, waiting behind an opportunity for Parsons. The hand pass over the top to Mitchell. This is Bolton looking for support outside, weaves onto his left foot back towards full forward, and Davis takes the mark with tuck. About 5 metres out directly in front.
Degree of difficulty?
Not too much, I wouldn't think, not at his age.
And again, as a junior footballer, you're always instructed to play in front, and that is the benefit of playing in front.
Davis, point blank range, gets another one for the Swans. Byrne over the top and brings it away. It is Byrne towards half forward. Missed in front by Lovett. A chance behind now for Melbourne. Johnson across the goal face to Stretch. Good shepherd from Hughes. Stretch comes along this broadcast side. The mark is taken by Newport. He's away into the path of Wilson. Wilson forward of centre wing, boots it down towards the 50-metre attacking line. Missed down there by Tui. To ground went Carroll. Opportunity for Jackson. Great stuff by Tui. Back he comes. Run down by Healy. Ball is jarred free. It's taken by Mitchell. A line of Swans across the ground. This is Roberts. Some width on it now. Thripp towards the outer side wing. Thripp, plenty of time. Pumps it back into the forward line. Morwood.
Oh, great mark.
Melbourne coach John Northey has made the change. He's put Lovett onto Morwood, but Morwood still proving a headache.
He's 40 metres from goal.
Tony Morwood, that's about mark number 5. 6. So a great quarter for him. He's already kicked 1 goal. 45 metres out. Pretty well on the boundary line, though, and that one drifting away. 1 behind. As bright sunshine comes out at the SCG to dry the ground even further. 30 plays 13 in the first quarter, which so far has been a good one for the Swans. White in the pocket, drops in short to take the mark, and with plenty of room to move, decides to go for the bounce. It's at centre wing. Lockman gets rid of it to Carroll. Looking for Williams. Finds him. Johnson late on the scene. From the square. Unloads long. Now can Big Parsons pick it up? Might have a second chance. Here's Big Coleman. Might be top heavy down there. Coleman snapshot out of bounds or a behind. It's the latter.
Tiptoeing up on the ball, weren't they? Coleman and Parsons.
I don't think the Still gift winner's got any problems down there. 4-7 to 2-1. This could come unstuck. Newport leaves it for Steins, and Steins boots them clear. That's a towering punt kick out towards the right half forward flank. Underneath it is Healy. Likewise Roberts palms it down. Cordy leaves it for Carter. Murphy. Healy. Carroll again through the legs of Healy on that occasion, and finally he gets it out to Murphy.
Murphy hand passes across to Tui. Tui on centre wing. A long kick into the forward line. Big pack at the fall of the ball. White comes over the top. Destroys it. This is Johnson. Was the centre of the ground. Intended for Lyon. Tripp's got the dash though. Well played by Tripp. Surrounded by demons, as you can see. He ties it up in there. 4 against 1. And that was an honourable draw from Terry Tripp.
Good effort by Tripp, but the Sydney players are really going hard at the ball. Melbourne's commitment could be questioned at this stage.
The Swans lead it by 18 points. Throw up again. Steins and Byrne. Byrne wins it. Dean knocks it back off the ground there by Steins. Out wide. This is Lyon to Healy. And they set something up now to Wilson. Jackson inside. Thought about releasing the ball. Brian Wilson took plenty of time. Hooks it across his body. Jackson almost the mark. An opportunity for Campbell down there. Trying to crash his way through was Murphy. Socket forward by Jackson. Knocked away by Henwood. He finds the safety of the boundary line.
Great play by Tony Campbell to tackle after he was disposed of the ball.
Byrne and O'Dwyer will do the ruck work. O'Dwyer has been quiet so far. Flicked backward of the pack. This is Cordy. Gets past Healy. Around the outer side goes the kick. Back goes Dean, but the penalty, I think, is against the man on the ground.
Yes, quite right, Dennis.
That was Lovett, who interfered with this man Morwood. Kept him out of the contest. And Morwood's got the football in front of the Hill stand, just forward of right half back.
And he's been the man of the match so far, or man of the quarter, we can say. Kick dropping short. Markers taken by Johnson. Johnson from just short of the circle, straight down the ground. And as we said earlier, that's the best way to play the SCG. Brian Cordy having a great game so far, finding space. Neil Cordy. Now it goes to Roberts. So the Swans not doing much wrong at the moment. Comes to Bolton. And turn to Big Byrne. We could almost call him Big Bird. He's that tall. This is Coleman. Glenn Coleman, who kicked the first goal inside the square. That's a good kick.
Sure.
It was touched by about 3 or 4.
Could have been a Melbourne kick, I thought.
These umpires bewilder me sometimes when
they don't start, Scotty.
Denny Hughes put some weight into that one. At the back line, Wilson covering plenty of territory so far in the first quarter. Healy called for it, ignores him, goes long. But a good safe mark. Taken down there on the last line of defence for the Swans by Henwood.
Easy enough. Wayne Henwood. It's across the face of goal to Michael Lockman, well-travelled player. Started at Richmond. Then West Perth, South Adelaide. And now the Sydney Swans via Collingwood. This is Morwood on centre wing. Back across his body, high floating kick. Murphy over the top, almost the mark. It goes again, does Murphy on the siren. And really that finish is symptomatic of the way they played their football in that first quarter. The Sydney Swans have looked good. 4-8 to 2-1.
Effective scoring shots in the first term to the Sydney Swans. They lead 4-8-32 to 2-1-13. Davis 2, Coleman and Morwood, the goal kickers, and for Melbourne, Newport and Lyon.
Today's game is a part of the Elders IXL 1988 VFL Premiership season.
So, Don Scott, a good quarter by the Sydney Swans. Can they keep it up? You said in that term that Melbourne lacked commitment.
Melbourne, they just did not go about the game the way they have their previous 4 games, and players were dropping their heads at the crucial moments and not committing their bodies and going in for the ball. Whereas Sydney, on the other hand, intimidated their younger Melbourne opponents. They're a pretty tough side, Sydney, and they've got some tough customers in there who don't mind letting them know what it's about when play's gone further up the ground. Melbourne have just got to realise that this is a type of pressure they will be subjected to if they're going to be a great side, and they should start and get their act together. The other thing is, Sydney really do know how to play this ground. Melbourne, on the other hand, are coming too far up the ground. They've got nobody on the full forward line to take advantage of the long kick, whereas Sydney, on the other hand, their big fellows lead from the full forward line and are able to get that long kick that comes quickly out of the centre. Tony Morwood on screen, his statistics, has been a very, very good player. Had 2 players on him already, Stephen Stretch and Brett Lovett, but he's taken both apart so far. 9 kicks, 6 marks, 5 handballs and 1 goal, 2 a dominating effort.
19-point lead to the Sydney Swans at quarter time. We say a very good afternoon to Steve Torbett. And Steve, what news from the coaches?
Yes, thanks, Peter. Tommy was pleased with their first quarter effort. He said it was the first time he'd seen a return to the endeavour he expected from this side. He did make the point, though, that to use one big man in the air at a time. On the other hand, John Northey was understandably most unpleased, and he said they looked like they were expecting an easy game, and he knew that they weren't going to get it. And if they are to be a top side, then they produced good football over a consistent basis. Thanks, Peter.
Right, thanks, Steve. And we're just about set for the second term. Now in bright sunshine. Melbourne trail by 19 points as we begin the second quarter. Obviously, John Northey isn't particularly happy at Dwyer. Winter, but they still, now they can get it out through Newport. Safe mark, though, at half-back taken by Henwood. Not too much movement up there for Henwood, so he has to go long. Lobs it to the centre wing. Dean the flyer for Melbourne. It comes down to Aishold, who had a fairly quiet opening term. The back is Carter. And 2 Melbourne players wrestling each other forward. Lyon was on the bottom. It's scooped out. Picked up by Lovell. Carter. Past Jackson. Roberts. Who's going to finish up with it? Mitchell gets it out to Roberts, and they get clear. The Swans on the run through their skipper, Dennis Carroll. Lovett should be able to take the mark without too many problems, and does. Been moved on to Morwood about 2/3 of the way through the first quarter. And Bolton could have infringed once or twice. It's a mark anyway. Not a 50-metre penalty, but David Bolton makes you earn your kicks. Greg Healy a little bit proppy as he gets up to Johnson. Mark taken by Bailey. Bailey on right centre wing. Big pack of players down there. Cordy effectively goes the first 2 Melbourne players are there. Laid off out to Aishold. He can score from there. Runs in directly in front. 25 out and has put it through, but it was touched. 1 behind. So Melbourne 2-2. The Sydney Swans 4-8 early in the second term.
Aishold, golden opportunity. Didn't get it up quickly enough. This is Carter. High kick. Over the top Fripp. Chance behind for Dean. He was well tackled by Williams. Still an opportunity for the Demons. This is Wilson. He'll find a teammate. Lyon only about 25 metres out from goal. Lucky kick, but decidedly effective. Now Gary Lyon, who has 1 goal, an opportunity to bring up Melbourne's 3rd. It's gone back a long way. He's outside 50 to start his run. Melbourne would like this one. Looking directly over his shoulder, and he gets it. Lyon's 2nd goal. 12 points the difference. This is Cordy out of defence, run down by Lyon. Ball jarred free. Bailey at close quarters to Lovell over the top to Newport. From 50 metres out, he goes long down towards full forward. Melbourne lead in the race, and Campbell has taken the mark on his chest. Campbell thought about centering the ball, elects not to. He's not. A good kick at goal.
Well, he hasn't been lately anyway, has he?
No, he sprays them everywhere. Having said that, of course, I would guarantee this one to go through. Tony Campbell in the shadows of the stand. In deliberately, and that looks pretty good.
Hit the flag.
It did too.
That's an interesting one. Now, is the flag part of the post, or is it not? It's an extension of it.
Depends on the breeze. They're hanging pretty limply, so to get the flag today doesn't mean necessarily it would have missed the post, if that inverted logic makes sense. This is Henwood coming to our broadcast. Don't look at me like that, Peter. Broadcast side. This is Jackson, goes in short. Good centering kick. Lyon directly in front, about 30 metres out. So hitting the flag inadvertently has given Melbourne a double play opportunity. A 7-point play. Quickly back in, and Gary Lyon with an opportunity now to kick his third goal, becoming to Melbourne what Morwood's been to the Sydney Swans. Lyon in bright sunny conditions gets the goal. 3 to Gary Lyon, and Melbourne getting right back into this one now. They trail by just 5 points.
And Gary Lyon's third goal coming in the space of 30 seconds. He's kicked 2 goals in 30 seconds. But what good play there by Ricky Jackson to get it to Gary Lyon. And the other good thing about Melbourne is they're now starting to lead deeper down the ground from that full forward line, and Lyon that time hovering around that area was able to run into a good pass from from Jackson.
Only 5 points the difference now after those 2 quick goals. Williams boots the Swans forward. They need something here as a reply. It rebounds to Stretch towards centre wing. Good hip and shoulder there by Aishold, but he didn't put Thripp out of business. I like the style of him. He's a real goer. Byrne behind.
Great mark.
White. Certainly some Irish blood there, isn't there? Sean White. Aishold has it knocked away by Coleman to Lockman. Little slow. Dean. Not the greatest of kicks, but effective nonetheless, up towards centre wing. The result was there. Wilson got it out to Jackson. The pass, not the best we've seen this afternoon from the Brownlow medalist, out of bounds from the throw-in adjacent to the interchange area. So a better quarter so far from Melbourne, having scored the only 2 goals. The Swans yet to add to their tally at quarter time. Ball booted back quickly up towards centre wing. Williams leading in the race forward. Aishold and Stretch after him. The Brownlow medalist tries to centre it, and that's effective. Coleman gets it in turn out to Tui. Around Bailey, around Steins, over the head of Coleman. A comedy of errors. Williams will have to do the tidying up himself. Healy to Parsons. Parsons from the edge of the square. Goes long. Byrne in the square tries to tap it over his head, but there was no one there. And it's through for only 1 behind. Could have marked that, Michael Byrne, one would have thought.
It was great footy by Williams, though, like going out to get the morning paper, wasn't it? Just so nonchalant.
You want to do it yourself. Little Murphy over the top of O'Dwyer. It's easier said than done. Stein had it and then lost it. Coleman again shows them how it's done. With a good turn of speed from the big fellow. Now 2 Melbourne players are here. Johnson is the one in front. They could have raffled it. Alan Johnson just back over the head of O'Dwyer. Now he's got a chance to show some speed. Bounces off his knees. He's still going. Some soccer tactics. He's ready for the FA Cup. Healy leads by example. High to half forward.
In front is Campbell. Intelligent player who tries to knock it across to Spalding. The Swans have got the numbers there. A little indecision. Tui and Carroll, but they get the ball out of bounds.
Spalding now playing at centre half forward for the Melbourne side.
Swans lead by 6 points. Boundary throw in. Carter over the top. Healy scrambles it back towards centre half forward. It bounces obligingly for Dean, tracking the ball towards the left full forward pocket. Dean goes in short. It bounces in front of Campbell. Took his eyes off the ball, back towards Dean. Dean inside 50. Ample time now, but the angle is acute. He can't pull it back far enough. And through it goes for a minor score. So the margin is 5 points. Early days in this second term at the Sydney Cricket Ground. 4-9 to 4-4. Warren Dean. Dennis Carroll putting it back into play. Miscues with a kick, and the mark is taken by O'Dwyer. Uncontested. Just inside 18 minutes remaining in the term. O'Dwyer, long kick back towards full forward. Pack at the fall of the ball, fisted away by Carroll from behind. Lions in there working for Melbourne. Eventually Bolton gets it across to Healy. They bring it away towards the outer side, where it bounces out of bounds. No, it doesn't. Wilson Got a good shepherd. Little chip pass comes in short. This is Eishold from 50. Long down towards full forward. Campbell goes back, grabs the arm of Henwood. Slapping it out Bailey. Henwood goes back in strongly. Carroll, the only man left standing. Tui with dash away from defence. Tui brings it to the members' side. Up was Morwood, over the top of Lockman. Falling over was Dean. Lovett tries to get it across to Dean. In turn, he gets it by hand with a deft deflection to Stretch into open space. This is Healy. He goes down towards left half forward. He touches it down once. A couple of Melbourne players calling for it in the middle. But that was a poor kick from Healy. He kicked it directly to the players who weren't marking the Melbourne men. This is Parsons.
And Parsons wasting no time, kicking it straight back to Simon Eishold. Eishold from the edge of the square. Starts to run around his opponent Mitchell. Excellent pass. We'll say excellent mark. And Lyon a chance to bring up another one.
Lucky for Melbourne that came off there, because Eishold had no options had he have kicked the ball long. Lyon the only one creating any movement at all for Melbourne on their forward line. And as a result, he's taken a mark and attracted the pass from Eishold.
Son of a former Hawthorn centre man, Peter Lyon. Chance to put through Melbourne's third goal this quarter, which he has done. It's a goal. Now 1 point the difference in favour of the visitors. A great comeback after they trailed by 19 points at quarter time. Free kick going Melbourne's way. They're playing in front everywhere. And you'll certainly get kicks today if you do that. This is Healy. Dwyer telling him where to kick the ball, and he goes out to Johnson. Johnson on centre wing. Plenty of room out there. A Paddock to move in. Cordy, good safe mark. And a good first quarter after Roberts, who runs deep into the pocket. Well shepherded. Still with room. Carroll can't keep Jackson at bay too much longer. Back to Mitchell. Williams. Bolton on the run. Oh, it's it out with the big fellow Parsons. And who have they got down there? Morwood? Yes. They're only really effective forward so far. He had a fine first term, but it's the first time we've seen him bob up in this quarter. A long way from goal. He'll kick from round about the 50-metre mark. Most of those stats you can see there were indeed obtained in the first quarter. One behind. Still haven't scored a goal this quarter, Sydney. Score is dead level. 14 effective scoring shots to 9. Sean White. Lovell. Very promising youngster. Wilson. A juggle. Right half back flank. Hughes is calling for it, but he ignores him and goes long. Looks for Spalding. Knocked away by Tui. No, it wasn't, says the umpire. And Spalding takes the kick at right centre wing. And high. Almost a rainmaker, that one. Plenty of chances for Henwood to come in and mark, and he makes no meal about that one. Good safe grab.
He's playing very well back there. Henwood to Carroll. Carroll, a short one into Mitchell. Can't control it. The two little fellows go at it. Jackson did well. Back comes Mitchell. Lovell an opportunity now. Tui dives in to Mitchell. Needs to kick it. Was he carried forward? Play allowed to go on. The advantage is paid. This is Murphy. Centering kick intended for Davis. Will it carry? Stretch a lot of courage to go back. This is Lockman taken high, according to the umpire Clayton. That was bad luck for Steve Stretch. Lockman was falling. He was off balance, and as a result, the tackle slipped high. Michael Lockman. This will test him. He'll kick from about 45 metres out. Swans needing a goal. Melbourne have started their second term well. Lockman's kick looks pretty good. Has it got the carry? Yes, it has. 6 points the margin. We're back in the middle. Dwyer decisively down to Healy. Healy away with a long kick down towards full forward. Lyon in best position. Knocked away well by Carter. Henwood, clever little hand pass. This is Roberts. Good shepherd too from Henwood off the ball. Roberts gets it across to Cordy. Cordy from halfback. Brings it along the members' side. Too much carry on the ball. Lovett gets in behind Morwood. Takes the mark. Wants to play on. Needs support now to Stretch. Stretch not a particularly long kick towards centre wing. Up was Carter, didn't touch the ball. This is Cordy, that's ambitious. Tried to crash his way through. Carter dragged off it. Clever little backhander looking for Tripp. They tie it up and the umpire will bounce it down. So the stakes are higher this afternoon and both these sides responding in the second quarter. John Northey against his old team, not happy at quarter time, and certainly he's fired up his charges.
Yes, they'll have to crank themselves up a bit more though, the Swans. Wilson went for the knockout, missed it. The stack up develops again. Dwyer and Tripp.
Dwyer will have to do most of the ruck work today because Steins has now been moved to centre half back, replacing Spalding, who has gone to centre half forward for Melbourne.
Dwyer has the potential, I think, to be the top ruckman in the competition. He continues his development. He's been a star for them so far this year. Getting ridden into the ground, love it. Umpire says a push in the back. That's pretty obvious. I think the crowd doesn't like it. And love it at left half-back flank to take the free. He's done well on Morwood actually since he was moved down there, or across there perhaps we would say. Knocked away by Spalding. Murphy, long hand pass. Courage needed there. Dean takes the crumbs well, unloads long up towards left forward pocket. Courageous mark taken by Roberts. You'd never doubt his commitment. Knocked away by Carroll from Healy. The skipper butters up well. Who's he got into the open space as he finds Eishold, unfortunately for Sydney. And Carter will be content to see that out over the boundary line in front of Lyon, who has already booted 4 goals. 3 this quarter. Oh, there's a box on O'Dwyer at centre field. It's a ripper.
That's a good one.
TV ringside with Henwood. There's a couple of stoushes there, and the runner comes out to separate them. Stretch is involved. Morwood comes out on him.
When I say a good one, some big punches were thrown. Some very
real rippers, weren't they? I'd hate to be the Melbourne player on the ground. Now Bolton's into it in the centre.
He's got about,
and he's knocked the Melbourne player right out. That's Alan Johnson.
Johnson has got a very sore head, I can tell you.
And he is not too good, let me tell you that.
Johnson is in all sorts of bother. It's an all-in. It's a Donnybrook. And they've scored a goal, by the way, gentlemen. I don't know whether anybody...
There's an interesting one. The 2 brothers, the Healy brothers, that'll take them back a couple of years when they used to fight amongst themselves.
Well, if I was in there, that's what I'd do, Don. I'd pick my brother. I don't think it hurts you too much.
I think I'd go to ground, Dennis.
Well.
But Alan Johnson back in the centre is not too good at all. You see the trainers around, and the stretcher will come out.
And Williams having a go at the trainer.
There's no place for the runners and trainers out there. They should be off the ground immediately.
It was only a matter of time before this had happened, because Sydney do lay a lot of things off the ball.
What does that mean?
Well, they let the sly one go, Peter, and they tackle very hard, and they'll rip one in when the umpire's not looking, or just at the decisive moment, because they are experienced.
Well, there have been coaches in the past that have said if a fight breaks out, you hit the man nearest you. And obviously that's what happened. I'm not saying Bolton hit Johnson first, but that was about 50 metres away from the fight and about 100 metres away from the ball.
I don't even know who scored the goal, but there was a goal scored. I was watching the fight. Play did continue. So I couldn't even tell you that one. It's gone up on the board. It's 5-10 to 6-4. I think they haven't put it up. Have they?
Yeah.
Might have been Bailey on the scoreboard. So they were watching the football. We were watching the fight.
The goal's on the board.
To, we presume, Brett Bailey.
Johnson a little groggy there on screen. He's going to walk off the ground.
I don't know whether any numbers were taken. I didn't see the books out.
Looks like he's copped a real uppercut under the chin too.
Now he's going off on the stretcher, it would appear.
Doug Coop warming up. Doug no stranger to this game, having started with Sydney Swans.
Played with North Melbourne too.
And a tough little cookie is Doug.
Those trainers doing the job they're there to do, but no place for runners and trainers to be out there pushing. There's trainers having the unfortunate duty of bringing Alan Johnson off, and that's always a very sorry sight at any football ground, a player being stretchered from the ground. And this game was always on a short fuse. You could almost tell from the start it was niggly.
Now what's going to happen now is the umpire is going to pay the first free kick just to maintain control. Now important for the players to get in front, because he'll pick out some insignificant little free kick just so that he maintains control of the game.
The stretcher will go straight to the rooms. Greg Williams having a few words to say to umpire Brian Bullis. At this stage, we don't know if any numbers were taken. Of course, the emergency umpire could have reported somebody. We would not know that, of course, until the game's over.
I think he was suggesting, trying the umpire on, suggesting they bounce it. The goal not stand, and they bounce it down towards half forward.
That'd be a good idea. Let's see what happens now. Wilson to Yates. Ball missed by Spalding. Out it goes to Lyon for goal number 5, but it's out of bounds on the full, and it will be a free kick down there on the last line of the fence to Henwood. So Henwood takes the kick. Let's hope the wiser heads have prevailed. The man in the air was Cordy. It's not going to be his kick, though. It's going to be Big Bad O'Dwyer. Not the best of kicks he's put in this afternoon. It's out of bounds. We'll see a throw in forward pocket left.
So, very important 5 minutes or so coming up now. The Swans are 5-10. The Demons are 6-4. Boundary throw in. Carter over the top, fisting it towards the boundary line. This is Jackson. Keeps it in play. Well played. Centers the ball. Intelligent kick taken by Yates about 55 metres out from goal.
Great play by Ricky Jackson.
Yep, good centering kick. Yates goes in short. Beautiful pass, and the mark is taken by Dean. Could have almost been 50. And Henwood making the point. Somebody should have come across in front of Dean, and he's absolutely right. Gaping hole left about 35 metres out from goal, and Dean just ran into it. And he kicks it a mile, does Warren Dean. Distance won't be a problem. Accuracy will. He misses to the right-hand side. Minor score then. And Melbourne lead by that margin. A willing affair at the Sydney Cricket Ground. Rod Carter put it in. Elects to favour the outer side slightly. Newport from behind Healy knocks it to the ground. In goes O'Dwyer, and the umpire will come across and ball it up. Bounce down out towards right half forward for Melbourne. Over the top, Healy to his brother Lovell, back towards full forward. Henwood fists away, taken by Carroll. That's a foot race into vacant space in front of the Brawongle stand. This is Yates getting back. Gets a good shepherd too from stretch. Beautiful centering kick, and the mark is taken by Greg Healy. He's away. Long down towards the forward pocket. One out contest down there. Henwood gets a fist on the ball. It comes forward. Off the ground by Jackson. Good football into the path of Spalding. Deep in the pocket, Earl Spalding. He pulls it back insufficiently, and through it goes for a minor score.
Would have been a handy one to Melbourne. They lead by 2 points. The Swans have only kicked 1 goal this quarter. Melbourne have kicked 4. Dennis Carroll looking for a lead. Just under 8 minutes left of this term after that time on with the blue in the stretcher case. That will be a holding the man decision. The recipient, Rod Carter, of the free kick. Carter at the edge of the square. He's got Bolton out wide. Can't take it. In goes Yates. Bolton over the top of the stretch with the hand pass. Effective. Trying to break clear. Cordy not successful. Excellent tackling by Melbourne. Stretch the rebound. And the hand pass to Yates. Plenty of Melbourne runners now to Newport. Knocked away by Henwood. Spalding doing well at attack now. Creating a few opportunities. Decides to centre the ball. Beautifully done too.
Magnificent kick by Spalding. He looked down the ground. He was going to blaze away at goal. Decided against that. Hooked the ball back with his left foot to the leading Bailey. Good
Bailey,
play.
Who kicked the goal while the fight was on. A chance to bring up goal number 2. The goal umpire doesn't move. It's a goal. And Melbourne now open up a handy lead of 8 points after they trailed by 19 at quarter time. So the Swans have got to get their act together quickly. The ball booted up towards half forward flank. Coleman tries to crash his way through without too much success. Murphy on top of it. In the back, surely. Free kick going the Swans' way. The recipient will be Murphy. He's about 55 to 60 metres out. Mitchell, rather. Very crowded forward line. The leader's on from Norwood. Late on the scene. Healy takes the mark.
Good play by Greg Healy. He dropped into the hole. There's always a hole in front of the full forward leading, and Healy took the advantage and placed himself there.
He's playing well to Yates. He's had a good second term. Graham Yates. From half back towards centre wing comes the kick. Spalding the leaper, fisted away by Carroll. An opportunity now for Bolton. Bolton breaks away to the boos of the crowd, gets it across towards Coleman. Coleman from 50 metres out, wobbles one down towards full forward. Up in front down there was Parsons. Off hands, it's taken by Coop. He goes across towards the opposite pocket. Lovell pulls it back, intended for Bailey. That was a great mark. Oh, Tui was wearing him like a glove. He roped it in. Bailey to Steins. Melbourne looking good in this term. Steins towards half forward. Newport was up. Back goes Healy. Jared Healy in front, battling. Still it's Healy over the ball. Hand pass, gains about 15 metres. Bailey tries to soccer it off the ground through the legs of Carter out there. Shrugs a tackle and was taken high in any case. Rod Carter wants to go. Standing start. Boots it back towards midfield. Stretch was up. Couldn't hang on. Lovett. Back into the forward pocket goes the kick, and Healy, who started that in the back pocket, suddenly bobs up in the forward pocket, centres the ball and finds Jackson. Ricky Jackson would be about 35 metres out, so suddenly the Swans have a real problem. The running players of Melbourne causing great concern out there. We're into time on. Here's Jackson. He'll kick from about 40. Looks pretty good too. Jackson gets the goal.
And that was Melbourne's 6th goal this quarter. They're giving the Swans a bit of a football lesson after the fight. Lovell down to half forward. Carter in the road. The Swans indeed have stopped. Out towards centre wing. Great mark to Cordy. Umpire says free kick to Melbourne.
Shepherding, he said.
I've seen worse instances of shepherding, I dare say.
Today.
Stretch. The back was Tui. He gets the rebound himself. Loses it ultimately. Bolton takes the hand pass from Murphy.
Melbourne.
Oh! Michael Byrne has put somebody down for the count. And the book will come out. I think every umpire on the ground has got him. I think Mick might have a holiday.
We'll see here. Oh, how would you like to run into the point of that? Thank you very much. Oh, I can feel it from
would
here.
you do that? Why would you do that? You're running the ball towards half forward. You're going to compete in the goal square and you give it away.
Well, it's very easy to do, Dennis, when the other opposition player has got his intention on trying to chase, as Lovell was then. He's wide open. All Michael Byrne had to do was put his big body in the road.
So Lovell with the free kick. Hasn't been the Swans' quarter. Spalding gets the ball to ground. Mitchell tries to go through without success. Dragged off it. Free kick going the Swans' way. It'll be Roberts' kick as the advantage rule played because they did have the ball. No, it comes back. So Roberts, 50-metre defence line. The Swans badly needing a goal before half-time. Strong mark to Cordy. He's played a very good game so far. Murphy, who was their main avenue to go against Carlton. Long bomb. That could just about be a score. Oh, tremendous goal.
Healy boots the Swans towards their half-forward line. Cordy over the top, gets a fist on that one. Morwood back towards Cordy. The crowd, the small crowd, right into this game. Cordy, centering kick. In from the side. Great mark is taken by Coleman. Good use of the body by Byrne. Brought some space for the big fellow drifting across the face of the pack there. And now Glenn Coleman. Watch this. Byrne just keeps him out a little bit. And Coleman over the top. So Coleman, an opportunity to pull the Swans back to within 2 points. Approaching half-time. Coleman's kick is true.
Well, you've always got your hand in your mouth when Coleman's doing anything around the ball. What a sensational mark it was, but he is capable of those sensational things, but he's also just as capable of kicking the ball out on the full. Now here again, the mark, again set up by Cordy, a magnificent mark. Had a serious knee injury a couple of years ago and certainly limited his jumping ability. but it's good to see him recover.
Only 2 points the difference now, close to half-time. The Swans making a late charge. High tackle, Murphy. Great little player he is. Morwood, no, can't grab it. And this fellow's done an excellent job. Love it since he was moved to him late in the first term. Roberts gets the ball to ground, clear of Jackson. Lockman in a hurry. Wilson, the fumble. Ball's very wet, by the way. The rebound comes back past Mitchell. Chance for Healy. Gets rid of it quickly to Yates. Down to Weishold, who's just about caught with it. But it will be a bounce on centre wing.
That was marvellous instinctive football from players of both teams there. Everything was just a reaction, and they really worked hard for no result.
Nearly 32 minutes have elapsed in this quarter. Of course, we had the fight in the stretcher case. And plenty of drama in term number 2 at the SCG as Yates takes the ball at left centre wing. Fires the pass down towards half forward, looking for Lyon. Why shouldn't he? Had a great quarter. Roberts, after some good shepherding work. Back to Thripp. Thripp marking short of centre wing. Plenty of Melbourne players down there. But in front, it's Morwood who comes out with the ball. Martin not played apparently. Dwyer just about overruns Bolton. Ball finally picked up by Coop. Back to the edge of the square, and the mark taken by Bailey, who's kicked 2 goals so far and has played quite well. Bailey to half forward. Twist it back to Newport. Gets it onto Lovell, and here's a chance for an even score.
Lovell goes in short and finds Greg Healy. Only about 35 metres out from goal. There's the siren. The umpire has heard this, so he won't short pass. 7-10 the Swans. The Demons are 8-6. And Healy a chance to stretch that lead out to 8 points. A very eventful first half of football at the Sydney Cricket Ground. The Melbourne skipper gets the goal on half-time. Melbourne 9-6 lead the Swans 7-10. Jog off, he says. Let's run off together. And that's what they're going to do. He was in some controversy, Michael Byrne. The Demons are pumped up, as you can see. Off they come. The Swans led by 19 points at quarter time. That's turned around now. The breeze not a factor, but Melbourne lead it by 8 points. In the process, they lost Johnson, and Lovell was downed as well.
We'll take a break, and we'll be back with our half-time comments after this.
Tommy Hafey was talking about the future of Sydney being on the line. That's really the last card in the deck. What do you say next week against Geelong if you happen to lose today and you're still here?
I don't know. I think you'd be running out of things to say. But Sydney are or have got their backs against the wall, because looking at their reserves early in the quarter, they've got not much downstairs.
8 point the difference as we begin the second half of the game. Now Dwyer down to Mitchell. Was offloaded by Weishold, and in the mud it's a wrestle, and it'll also be a bounce. Or maybe out there it'll be a throw up.
Michael Parsons on screen doing the ruck work against O'Dwyer. Hasn't got much idea of ruck play. He was a basketballer originally, played in the forward pocket last year, and Redden did all the ruck work, but he's learning slowly.
Push in the back, or high tackle to Mitchell. Barry Mitchell kicks loose off the side of the boot. It's got plenty of mud on it, that ball. And it's also pretty slippery. O'Dwyer to Yates was good combining. Coleman lays it off out wide. Intercepting though for Melbourne is Jackson. Jackson looks for Wilson. Cordy in shadow. Played well. And good disposal. Finds Coleman plenty of space at right centre wing. Looks awkward, Glenn Coleman, but he's taken some nice marks and kicked a couple of goals for the Swans so far. Knocked down to Lockman. Just about got one for his corner there. Back to Mitchell. Good use of the body by Steins, or was it a push?
Oh, now, I thought good use of the body, Peter. You called it.
Well, the ball has to be within 5 yards.
Well,
meters.
I thought he simply stood his ground.
Oh. We'll see here on replay, Steins behind. Oh. I thought, as you said, Dennis, he just stood his ground. He didn't go looking for him.
Well, I think he should line up on Oscar's night, Michael Parsons. He's got the kick. That's what counts. He's missed it. Maybe there's some poetic justice there. One behind. He would have looked for a better result from that. Where he was kicking from, 53 plays 60, still 7 points in it.
Here's Hughes kicking in then. Straight up the middle comes the kick. Stretch in from the side. Up he goes, almost the mark to Steve Stretch. Melbourne player taken high there. Free kick will be taken by Healy, who's been a star. He goes out wide, intended for Newport. He's marked on centre wing. Didn't gain much. He centres the ball now. Intended for Lyon. Knocked away there by Murphy. Came across to Cordy from Healy. Cordy was very slow. This is Roberts over the ball to Carroll. Out of defence. A telling kick towards half forward. Coleman's in front. Fisted away by Steins. Into open space. Yates the deflection into the path of Newport. Picked up again by Steins. Steins towards half forward with a kick. Lyon was edged out of it. Shepherding was the call, but I think it was more body work by Carroll, and Carroll is not happy. The umpires have been red hot on that, certainly this weekend. They were in Perth on Friday night. There goes the kick from Lyon, right towards the goal square. Roberts battling down there with Jackson. Wide of the pack, an opportunity for Bailey. This is Tui. Well done, Tui. Murphy's away. Gets around Lovell. Centres the ball, intended for Williams. Morwood is breaking for him. Williams, aware of that, wants to put the ball into the path of Morwood. He can't get there, try as he might. Hughes was up. Hughes paddles it towards the boundary line. It's out of bounds. Well, the thinking, great vision there from Williams, was spot on, but he couldn't execute.
Simon Oshold giving Greg Williams too much latitude.
Dwyer in front. Lockman doing the ruck work. Back O'Dwyer, who wins it down, but it's taken by Healy. Dragged off it. O'Dwyer off the ground. Taken by Greg Healy. To Lovell. To Stretch on the burst. Up he comes through centre. Down goes Bailey. Yes. Few tempers. And short fuses out there. Meantime, the ball comes inside 50. Must be a Henwood free. And the umpire a little indecisive there. He's going to pay the advantage. Now he brings it back. Henwood's got it. Up from the back pocket. Rockman calling for the short one. Henwood ignoring that, kicking for distance. What a beautiful kick to Murphy. Down goes Murphy. That's got to be 50. Umpire Clayton comes across and basically says that's okay. Well, I don't know.
So 50 metres as we watch it in replay.
But the 50 metres is not for that infringement. The infringement came a little bit later when Stephen O'Dwyer ran over the mark.
Should it have been for the first one?
No.
Isn't he wasting time?
No, the umpire here, Stevens, committed. He's running full stretch at the player.
Well, okay. You make up your own mind at home. Murphy, who's a good kick of a football, just on the 50-metre line, coming around nicely. Off the hands of the pack. Healy takes it. Might even be through. In fact, it has been. So one behind to the Sydney Swans. 54 plays 60. Melbourne lead by a goal. Danny Hughes. Good kick. Looking for O'Dwyer. Couldn't mark it, so palmed it on. Excellently done to find the smaller players running past. Stretch was there. Chance for Tui. Gets the ball back to a teammate in Murphy. Mitchell. Ball off the hand, or the knees of Tui, actually. Scooped out to Murphy. Grabbed too high. That's a throttle hold by Greg Healy.
Had him by the lip.
So Murphy takes the kick. Short pass to Parsons. Along in the short of it there with Jackson on the mark. Roberts. Williams decked high. No free kick for that. Now there's one. So the umpires will need to be on their toes to keep control of this. Jackson takes the free kick. Not the best of kicks as it goes straight to Roberts. Mitchell. And he runs into Rod Carter. Bad hand pass. He hasn't made too many mistakes, but that one was a bad one to Oshold. Henwood overruns it. The opportunity for Dean. Here's a goal coming up. The build-up good. Spalding, 12 metres out, slams it through.
Melbourne lead by 12 points. Play restarts. This is Mitchell out of the centre towards half forward. Coleman's up in front. Couldn't hang on. This is Williams inside 50. Greg Williams long towards full forward. White is going back. Deflects it towards the boundary. Out of bounds. We'll have a throw in down there. About 5 metres around from the behind post. Williams has won in the centre today. try and come back to league football. Boundary throw in. Byrne. Dwyer. Clean possession over the top to Morwood to Davis. Blanketed off the boot brilliantly by Lovett. In the back pocket, he swings it along the Wollongong stand side. Lovell almost the mark. Taken by Wilson. He feeds Jackson. Jackson one bounce. Runs through half-back. Kicks towards centre wing. Oh, great work by Carroll. Outmaneuvered Spalding to take the mark on his chest. And fine football being displayed. Well-weighted kick. Accommodates Cordy. No one stands the mark. Cordy goes down towards the pocket. Davis showed too much of the ball to Hughes. Going through his Parsons. He was stripped and he'll take a free kick. Now Parsons would be about 35 metres out. That short pass into Davis can't be so high. It's difficult to execute, but Hughes could see it and as a result got a fist on it. It needed to be low and in front of the leading player. So here's Parsons. Recruited from North Adelaide, the Premier's last season in South Australia. What can he do from here? Sharp angle. Starts it right, well, right at the goals. Pack into the air. Byrne a chance behind, over his shoulder. That's a great effort there from Michael Byrne. I think he's kicked the goal.
Michael Byrne, a big man who does possess a lot of skill. But the problem is with Michael, he just can't consistently show it. We'll see here on replay the high ball from Parsons. Now the pack flies, but Byrne, who went up for that, the quickest to recover, but onto his natural foot, the left foot, but that was still tremendous recovery for such a big man. Again, Parsons, 6'7". White knocks down. Byrne bang onto that left foot.
Dwyer. Well, nobody gets a decisive knockout there. The two number ones doing battle. It's going to be a Melbourne ball. Free kick to be taken by Newport. Carter with the fist away. Free kick holding the man. Melbourne will gain it through Gary Lyon, who's kicked 3 of those goals in the second quarter when he hit a purple patch. And 2 of them came within about 30 seconds. And kicking from about 55 metres. Plenty of Swans jerseys in the goal square. Wilson farms it off to Dean. On the angle, can't repeat the Byrne trick at the other end. In fact, he's put it out on the full, and the free kick will go the Swans' way to Dennis Carroll. Jackson stands the mark. It's a nice old sort of an ear on Alan Johnson. Murphy. Morwood, great mark, just inside the line. Thumbs up from the umpire. Morwood to drive the Swans into attack. A great first quarter. Lovett's played well on him since then, though. Murphy in front. Now a promising forward thrust from the Swans. Davis up high. At the back was Hughes. Did the necessary spoiling to get it away from Lockman as well. And the throw in about 45 out.
Davis making the point. He wants the ball in lower. It's twice now in the space of 2 or 3 minutes.
Byrne and O'Dwyer. Won by O'Dwyer. Eichhold out of danger. The boundary line, perhaps the target. Maybe it was Bailey. It's out of bounds nonetheless. In front of the Pat Hill stand. A goal the difference in favour of Melbourne. The Swans have had, as you can see on the scoreboard there, plenty of opportunities up forward. Again, it's Parsons and O'Dwyer. O'Dwyer winning well. Onto that though was Healy. Not every which way but loose. High tackle. Might have been a fraction lucky, Gerard Healy. And Healy will take that free kick on right centre wing. The Swans need some movement up on their forward line. Tucked away by Steins. And there's the brother Greg Healy. Swings it back towards centre wing. Cordy goes the spoil, but Wilson's there.
Wilson right on the boundary line. Upended as he kicks. Tui. He's tried very hard. Roberts. No real space out there. Scrambles a kick around the outer side wing. It favours Parsons, the last man in the chain. He's away deep into the forward line. Didn't look. White comes up, takes the mark, run down by Morwood. Well played. This is Steins. Love it. Goes in short towards midfield. The mark is taken by Newport. Newport's in trouble. He wanted to beat one too many. As a result, the hand pass was untidy. Eyeshot was taken high. Play allowed to go on. Hand pass comes across from Tui to Bolton. Some sly work done there by one of the Swans. Meantime, Bolton skies the ball towards the outer side. Not a good-looking kick. And the mark is taken by Cordy, who showed courage. Bolton to Healy. Across it comes to Lockman. Inside to Carroll. He could kick this, Carroll. Inside 50. Long kick. It looks pretty good. He's just missed. Wow.
Great running by the captain, number 7, Dennis Carroll. At centre-half back on Gary Lyon. Left line, took the bit between his teeth and nearly a goal.
5 points the difference. Great play by O'Dwyer. Hooked it back at the pack. Opportunity now for Greg Healy towards centre-half forward. Dean. That should have been a mark. It's paid. Warren Dean will get the distance from here. One of the longest kicks in league football. Only 2 men down in the square. Dean is off to the left-hand side. He kicks a minor score. So it's back to 6 points now.
Well, the VFL, if they're consistent, they might be looking at the tape of this match a couple of times during the upcoming days. There's some quite interesting viewing, I should think. O'Dwyer, great mark. And I said before, Don shaping up as the #1 ruckman in the competition. A couple of years, I think he might be able to wear that mantle. Healy, dispossessed, but in the back. No doubt about that in my book.
I agree with you, Peter. When you're playing in front, as Greg was then, you get the benefit of the umpire's decisions. We'll see here on replay. Mitchell caught behind, Murphy caught behind, head over the ball, into the back, and rode him down to the ground without the ball.
Healy will kick from just inside the 50-metre line. The angle you can see. Quite get the distance. It's a Swans mark. There's 2 of them got their hands on it. Dennis Carroll.
So there's no need for Henwood to do things like that. They're just looking for trouble, a lot of these Swans players.
We've got 50 metres out of it. So that worked. And of course a 50-metre penalty translates to 100 if you add the kick to it.
How did he get 50 out of that?
I was going to ask you the same question. That's why I'm a little bit slow to move for that. Cordy over the head of Lovett. Williams gets rid of it quickly, but it goes out to Newport. Bailey over the top, intended for Jackson. Some soccer tactics. Carter well caught by Lyon and holding the ball. Sydney crowd not happy with that, predictably. Lyon with the free kick, left centre wing. Decides to centre it. O'Dwyer. Wilson wants to get around Yates, his own teammate, who chips in with some good shepherding to keep Williams at bay. That'll be a score. Touch through, 1 point. Good work by Carroll in the last line of defence. He had a metre to go before he got a fist on that. And Dwyer in the hands of the trainers. He got up a little bit proppy. He seems okay. 7 points in it. Morwood the flyer. Thrip almost claimed by Lovett. Wobbles the kick, looking for Gerard Healy. Healy gets into some space, long hand pass. Roberts, and almost collided with Hughes. And it's left to Yates to do the tidying up. Good block then by Morwood. They'll have to go through it all again. It's socket off the ground, back to Lovell at centre field.
Lovell at close quarters to Healy, who runs through the middle, kicks towards half forward, intended for Wilson. He was going. He's dragged down. This is Murphy, deep in his own defensive area. Good attempt to tackle by Dean. Weight of numbers tells the story for the Swans. To Lockman, to Davis. Can the veteran run? Yes, he can. He's being run down by a stretch, but he gets his kick in towards Hughes. Hughes on quickly to Coote. Too quickly. Davis to Bolton. Short pass is on. He goes short. Too much carry. He should have kicked it to Coleman or gone to the square. This is White. He'll run it out. That's ambitious. Kept his head. Now it's going to be a free kick. No, the umpire is paying the advantage. Gee whiz, the umpires have got a few problems out there at the moment. It's Phil will put the whistle down and pick up the microphone. This is Spalding. He goes towards half forward. Bailey is out there and he marks on his chest, too far out to score. He's at left half forward. Bailey, centering kick intended for Yates. He was heavily strapped. He was corked in that second term. He goes in short. Bailey has got 2 goals, kicks from 45 metres. They contest about 2 metres out. Bumped forward by the defence. They scramble after it. Carroll pushes it through for a minor score. Tough, unrelenting game of football, this one.
Is it what?
10-9 Melbourne, 8-13 Sydney. Past halfway in the term. Kick in Members' side. Stretch was up. Fripp goes after it with desperation. Dragged off it. Lyon off the ground. Jackson inside half forward, held without it. Yes, that's the decision. Jackson played it cleverly.
He did play it cleverly. Had to punch the ball. The tackle came and Jackson got what he wanted, which was the free kick. He'll kick from 50 metres. You might see this in replay. No, actually, he didn't punch it, did he? He sort of fell, jarred loose almost. But well played to get it. And he looked one way, kicked another. It has come unstuck. Stretch couldn't do just that. Couldn't stretch enough. Carroll grabbed, similar instance. Must get a free if they're consistent. Easy does it, boys. So Dennis Carroll at left half-back flank. In towards the glue pot. Eishold, good use of the body and the fist to get it clear. Goes to Tui. No one in particular. Steins lost sight of it. Williams didn't. Not a clean disposal. Too high, says umpire Clayton. And Clayton's free kick, perhaps. Williams. In front of Spalding. Better judgment from Coleman. Well, when he gets 2 hands on it, he doesn't miss too many marks. And Glenn Coleman has been quite an effective forward. And you can see there his stats. In the bottom line, 2 goals. Very valuable ones from the former Fitzroy player. A chance to become the Swans' leading goal scorer. The umpire moves across a fair margin, indicating only 1 flag will be the end result. And Glenn's not too happy with that. Higgins onto the ground and Parsons has come off. Parsons off, Higgins on. So some more mobility. Tommy Hafey, Newport, Greg Healy, the brothers. It was a good spoil too. Knock away by Fripp. He's only succeeded in finding Danny Hughes, but that kick doesn't cover too much distance. Courage needed there, shown by a lot of players, and there's Higgins, the cleanest man on the ground. You can't mistake him. Ball spills out to Stretch. Stretch at right half forward or going to that position from centre wing. Dean tries to get into the open spaces. Runs his full distance, hooks it back. Only one behind again from Warren Dean. The goal would have been more than handy. Sunday afternoon live from the SCG. 62-70. Melbourne still in front.
Kick in towards the outer side. The Swans have got the numbers out there. Fripp and Carter in a marking duel. Fripp takes the mark. Battled hard on his wing. Fripp towards half forward. Higgins got into the back of the taller Melbourne player Spalding. The advantage is paid. Steins breaks away to Lovett. Lovett forward at centre wing. Forced to kick with his left foot. In front is Cordy. Coming down was Dean to give a contest. This is Jackson spinning out of trouble. Still he goes, Jackson. Running out of space. Controlled it pretty well. He kept it in. This is Roberts. Deep in the back pocket. Claimed by Bailey. Well, almost. Tui trying to get it out of bounds. Eventually Mitchell comes away. He breaks out of the back pocket as Mitchell. Sends play towards the outer side. Morwood's up in front. Almost tackled in midair. Yes, that's the decision. Now it's play on. Higgins towards half forward. Healy in front. Newport gets into his back. Healy will take the kick. It's the game of the fast whistle at the moment. Down towards full forward. That's better. That's how you take it in. He's been asking for that. And Davis marks the Healy kick. I think Healy kicked it, didn't he? Jared Healy?
Yep.
I was back watching the umpire.
Higgins might have been.
Higgins it was. There's Craig Davis with 2 goals to his credit. On the receiving end of a beautiful pass, and from long distance he gets the goal. 2 points.
And that was Craig Davis's 3rd goal, but it's Melbourne into attack through Bailey. Bailey's kick high and long. down towards right half forward, left half back now for the Sydney Swans, and that's where we find Tui. Tui's kick up the centre wing, gathering the crumbs well. Murphy gets offloaded by Big O'Dwyer. Did he have it? Play on was the call. No one making too much headway. Murphy looks in a bit of bother too. That's bad news for the Swans. He's in a lot of pain out there after that tangle with the tall redhead. Down to Davis. Good hand pass coming back from Hughes. Eichel delivered out of bounds. Plain as the nose on your face.
Not on the umpires anyway.
He heaved it straight over the line. Murphy looks as though he's seen better days out there. Gerard Healy, good block by Higgins to enable him to get the kick. A good centering one at that. Tries to find Morwood. There's Davis. It's touched off the boot. Subsequently, Hughes has to play on. Up to White, looking for a favourable bounce. He's got backup support and plenty of it. Steins, the Irish connection. He's lobbed it high. Cordy at the back. Should have tried to punch that a bit more decisively. Spalding into the open spaces, tried to get it to Healy. Roberts dispossessed. Carter rebounded off an opponent's boot down towards the forward pocket. Wilson and Tui. And Tui's intentions fairly obvious as well. For the boundary line, throw in 50 up. And Murphy got the glasses on him. He still looks a little bit proppy there at centre field. Quite a heavy knock. 2 points the difference. Roberts kicked it straight to Graham Yates though. Yates at left half forward flank. Now that's a free kick to whom?
Going Spalding.
They were both pushing and shoving, so the question had to be asked. It's going to Tui. Bernard Tui just up from fullback. And the mark in the centre taken by Cordy. He gets it out to Carroll.
Carroll out wide, good kick, beautiful kick. Mitchell into space, too far out to score. Mitchell a little confused by Williams. There goes the kick high. Dwyer camped underneath it. Off the hands. This is Higgins. Open goal square. It bounces through. 74-70. Approaching time on in this term. Williams socket off the ground by Steins. This is Carroll. Carroll runs to centre wing. Goes looking for Mitchell. Another lovely kick. Mitchell takes the juggled mark. Mitchell, left half forward. Plenty of movement down forward. Goes for distance. Byrne, up he goes. Second attempt, third attempt. Couldn't hang on. He's confronted by White, and the umpire has no alternative but to move in and bounce it down. 10-14 to 10-10. Slugging contest at Sydney. Michael Byrne, 1 goal to his credit, will do the ruck work. About 15 metres out from Sydney's attacking goal. Wide of the pack. Opportunity there for Higgins. He couldn't find the handle. White was held without it. Coop, clever hand pass. Sends Healy away. Healy goes out wide, intended for Lyon. Deft deflection, or he tried to get it down. Socket off the ground by Roberts. Out wide to Higgins. He's a left footer. Which way will he go? Kicks with his right. Should have come back and centered the ball. Coleman was loose as it turned out. Back into the air. Off hands close to the boundary line. Davis, interesting. Coop keeps it in. Coop right on the boundary, goes in short, knocked away from Yates by Roberts. Socket off the ground by Jackson. It's out wide. It's a foot race. 2 tired players go after it, and Carter decides, no thank you, we'll take it out of bounds.
Well, they call him Rocket Rod, don't they? He was moving at full pace. O'Dwyer and Henwood. Now there's a push out here. It's going to O'Dwyer. Well, I must admit I've seen worse infringements in the ruck. Not yesterday at Geelong. However, O'Dwyer has the free. Spalding knocks it down for Newport. Here's a chance for Lovell. Ball didn't bounce too kindly for him though. Had it gone the other way, could have been a certain goal. Now here's a race. Backward socket off the ground by Tui. He'll go again, I think. Yes, he does, to get it away from 2 Melbourne opponents. In fact, make that 3. So good work by Bernard Tui. Warmly applauded by this crowd at the SCG. Not a big crowd, but they're pretty vociferous. Knocked down by Eichel, actually. Williams ducks the tackle, weaves in and out to Henwood. Lobs it high towards half forward. Coleman. Well, the gangly style of Glenn Coleman on many occasions today, proving awkward up forward. Well, he's kicked it like an emu with a broken leg, and it's out of bounds.
Just when you need Glenn Coleman to do something, a goal would have been very, very handy with only 17 seconds to play.
Sean White brings it back, so the Swans with a chance. Maybe Coleman again. Henwood goes the spoil. Newport. Kick is short to centre wing. Mark is taken by Cordy, and he's probably taken more marks in the ground than anyone else, I'd suggest, without even looking at the stats. He just keeps grabbing them. He'd need to be a super optimist, though, to score from there in a three-quarter time. The Sydney Swans 10-14-74. Melbourne 10-10-70. Great quarter by the Swans, and they lead by 4 points at the final change. Don Scott.
Well, and the question is, can Sydney hang on? If you look at this game, it was Sydney's game in the first quarter. There's the third. Melbourne controlled it in the second quarter, and if we go by that, Melbourne should take over in the fourth quarter. Sydney are virtually playing with only 17 men on the ground because David Murphy is carrying a bad leg injury from that knock from Stephen O'Dwyer, but they've certainly got a lot of grit in that Sydney side. And the way they're going about it, the endeavour they're showing, they're trying to run the opposition, the younger Melbourne players down with just physical strength. So it's an interesting contest, physical strength against youthful enthusiasm. We see there on screen the statistics. Melbourne's way as far as the kicks go, 173 to 161. Handballs, the other interesting one, 64 to Melbourne, 102 Sydney, and hit-outs in favour of Melbourne, 31 to 13.
So 10-14 to 10-10 at the final change. We'll take a break. Back with the exciting last quarter after this. 4 points the difference at the final change in favour of the Sydney Swans. The official attendance this afternoon, 9,269. But the players, or the people in the spotlight at the moment, the two coaches. Let's go down to the boundary line and Steve Torbett to find out what they had to say.
Thanks, Peter. Well, surprisingly, Tommy let most of his senior players do most of the talking. Healy, Morwood, Dennis Carroll, they spent most of the time in the three-quarter huddle urging their players on, re-emphasising the importance. They only had 30 more minutes to go. John Northey said that in this last quarter, it would be the first goal, the first 5 minutes it would tell. He said that to go direct in this ground, it's very short, and make sure that the first score is one to the Melbourne club. Thanks, Peter.
Righto, thanks, Steve. And of course, we've had a couple of players on the sidelines, Don, haven't we? Cordner was injured in the first quarter, and we didn't see too much of Alan Johnson after that heavy knock either.
No, but Alan Johnson's actually come back on, Peter, and Melbourne have made a change on the interchange bench. Doug Coop went off with his hand bandage, and also Anthony Lovell. And coming back on, Campbell at the full forward position, Tony Campbell and Alan Johnson. And there we see on screen David Murphy. Now, he doesn't look too good at all, and he's got that thigh heavily bandaged, as
pair of bookends. Yates has got the other one.
Yates has as well.
Yep.
I don't know whether bandages do much for you, Corky, do they, Dennis?
I don't think so.
The final quarter, the walking wounded continue to do battle. The Swans leading by 4 points. Can they go on with it? Can Melbourne remain unbeaten? Murphy fires out the hand pass. The Swans through Toohey. It's a long bomb up towards half forward. Bolton has to do the spoil. White's in there, so too is Danny Hughes. And there will be a bounce in the Swans' right forward pocket, about 35 metres from goal. Much better quarter by the Swans in the third term when they booted 3-4 to 1-4 after being outscored 7-5 to 3-2 in the second stanza. Dwyer at the back, too much height. Eichelt's kick only travels about 5 metres. Yates gets run over. Murphy gets run in too. Out to White. Beautiful kick, 55 metres at least. Wilson underneath it. Just didn't quite judge it, but the courage, as Don said, was there. Knocked down by Parsons and picked up by Cordy. Cordy's kick back towards centre wing. Eichel in the road for Melbourne. No, he didn't really look where he kicked that. Ian Roberts, the ever reliable. The right half back flank. Could be kick to kick. Eichel chance to get it again. Just about. Umpire has found a free kick, though. It's going the Swans' way. And the recipient at right half forward flank, or a little bit short at that position, Len Coleman. And he's put it right into the pocket. Davis has it bounce off his knees, and it will be a boundary throw in about 50 metres from goal.
Melbourne have made some positional changes. Tony Campbell coming off the bench has gone to centre half back on Glenn Coleman, and Jim Steins, who was the centre half back, in the forward pocket on Michael Byrne.
Boundary throw in then. Stretch off the ground. Scrambled forward by Healy. And it goes about 15 metres. Dwyer thumps it forward. Healy again at close quarters. Gets it to Mitchell. Higgins surrounded. Needs support. Dragged down. Good tackle by Campbell. Greg Healy to Eichhold. His kick half smothered. Tui back into the Swans forward line. Coleman needs to knock it on, but Greg Healy did brilliantly to Stretch. Stretch right on the boundary. Hugs that boundary. Cordy, who's been a star. Another great mark taken by Cordy. It was a chest mark, but it was the work that led up to it. Great use of the body. 10 marks to Cordy as he goes towards half forward. Dwyer roves the pack. Back in the Cordy direction. Awkward bounce for him. It's taken now by Lyon. Lyon outside scoring range. High floating kick down towards the pocket. Cordy and Wilson. Good defence by Cordy. He thumps it towards the boundary line. And Henwood is content to let it run out. Early days of the final term, and the Swans lead by 4 points. A must-win game for the Swans. Melbourne trying to keep their undefeated record intact.
Hafey making a move. Murphy going down to the forward pocket and coming up onto the wing on the injured Yates is Barry Mitchell.
Cordy again with strength out of the congestion. Back grandstand side. Over the top Dwyer. Melbourne have got the numbers. Eichhold drew a man to him, then fed it off to Yates from 60 metres out. Yates. Spalding is going back and he's taken the mark. Spalding will play on. Gives it to Bailey. Bailey kicks his third.
So Melbourne hit the front again. They lead by 2 points, 76-74. We've been playing just over 4 minutes in the final quarter. Dwyer loses that one out to Parsons. Eichhold there for the crumbs. Well tackled by Bolton. It spills to Williams. And a great first quarter. Free kick to Coleman, one would suggest.
Tony Campbell caught out of position on that occasion. Awkward situation when you've been in that position, running with the flight of the ball, and your opponent has judged it a little bit better. It's hard not to infringe.
So Glenn Coleman has the chance to come up with the quick reply that the Swans so desperately need. Long way out. He's going to start his run from beyond the 50-metre line. He kicked from about 48. One behind. And so the difference is 1 point. Hughes favours the outer side where Coleman was, and he's got a chance to grab that. Dwyer was in front. Coleman does the shepherding for Healy, who gets ridden into the ground. The umpire calls play on. Down goes Parsons. Somebody's lost a boot. It's out of bounds about 65 to 70 metres from the Sydney Swans goal. Be some tired boys tonight out there. And a few injuries to report. Healy, who's played an excellent game, after Wilson in front of Cordy. And so too is Cordy. As we said a short time ago, 10 marks, his tally. He's got plenty of kicks. A very workmanlike performance from the former Footscray player. Parsons with O'Dwyer. Parsons doing well now. Williams, not a good hand pass intended for Mitchell. Healy again. Wilson again. The whistle had gone, but a play on call. Wilson does. The pass is on. Beautiful knock on to Dean. Here's a chance for Jackson to get another one and put Melbourne further ahead, and he's done it.
Plenty of Melbourne supporters here at the Sydney Cricket Ground. A big roar waited that last goal from Jackson as the ball is booted in off the ground by Jackson. Roberts tried to kick it out of mid-air. Looks pretty willing in there. Dean snaps towards. He's way off target. It's out of bounds on the full in the right full forward pocket. 7 points the difference. Interchange players warming up. Dennis Carroll. Backs to the wall time for the Sydney Swans. He's played well today, Carroll. High kick towards the outer side. Pack into the air. Waiting behind Lovett. Just gets away from Morwood. Centers the ball. High kick. In best position to mark. Carroll read it well. He was the man who kicked it out. He'll do it again. No, he won't. He hand passes across to Henwood. Henwood up towards centre half back. Spears a pass and intended for their star Williams. He applied a good tackle. This is Lockman.
Great tackle.
Dragged down by Greg Healy. Stretch rather tentative with the left foot. This is Campbell. Sockers it off the ground out wide. Now it's a race. Hughes up from fullback. Gathers the ball. Sends it along this grandstand wing. From behind, Tui fists away. Going in solidly was Yates, and the ball's out of bounds. Well, it's a testimony to players of both sides. Eye shoulders down. He was the man that was tackled in the middle. As soon as he went to ground, he cramped up.
Let's hope that's all it is.
I think it is. There's Byrne. O'Dwyer. Carter clean possession over the top. Out wide. Intercepted though by Yates. Yates kicks it out of bounds on the full. No, according to the boundary umpire. We'll have a throw in.
I think he got his ruler out there.
And Sydney about to make a change. Michael Parsons going off and David Cordner returning.
Byrne to do the ruck work. Wins it forward. Opportunity for Mitchell. He's at right half back.
And just couldn't get any space to get the kick in. Lyon over the line. The ball wasn't. And Roberts takes it over this time. Throwing about 55 out from the Melbourne goal. The Swans must get the next goal if they're to stay in contention. They trail by 7 points. 9 minutes have been played so far. Changes being swung pretty quickly by Tommy Hafey at an attempt to lift his side. Lyon's kick lifts Melbourne because it's gone to Dean. He could just about kick this one. He's kicked one.
Well, that's Dean's 4th or 5th point today. Been very inaccurate, and Hafey making changes. Thrip coming on and going off the injured David Murphy.
So 8 points the difference. Knocked away by Campbell. Laid off out to Healy. Picked up by Tui. Mark. Stretch on centre wing. At full stretch.
Top mark.
Kicks it back whence it came. Plenty of distance in the kick. Now, who was interfering with who down there? It's going to be a Roberts free kick, it would appear. Ian Roberts at the right half-back flank. No, it's not going to him. It's going to Cordy. In my book, their best player today was Dennis Carroll. High flyers needed. Comes down to Bailey. Bailey's kick up to the 50-metre line. Roberts again juggles it. Caught by Lyon. Plenty of weight being used there. Down goes Lyon again. That must be in the back. And he'll take the free kick at the left half-forward flank. And Wilson a little bit slow to get up too. Looking trifle the worse for wear as well. So coming up the 14th kick to Gary Lyon. He's kept it off with 4 nice goals. 3 of them in the second quarter. Carter robes the pack well. Out to the centre wing position. The man with the bandage is Graham Yates. Or one of the men with the bandage. Out to Lyon again. Lyon's gone for a short pass. The Worms duck their head. Bolton on centre wing. The speedster can't get clear. Carter out to Healy. Now a promising move.
Healy out wide to Davis. Craig Davis has kicked 3 goals. We'll go to the goal square. High kick. Watch for Morwood from behind. Up he goes. Knocked forward by Campbell. This is White. He's claimed down there by Cordner. It's jarred free. Taken by Steins to Johnson. Johnson will kick for space towards the outer side. Cordy leads in the race out there. Will it stay inside? Yes, it will. That ball has come to a complete stop out there by the time Cordy arrived. He chip passes infield and the mark is taken by Healy. This is a top game of football out there. Healy's away now. Centers the ball to Bolton. And despite a valiant attempt by White, Bolton's taken this mark. And you can judge the Melbourne contingent of supporters here. Every time Bolton goes near the ball, there's plenty of booing.
Bolton has been a little quiet since that fracas in the second quarter.
Bolton, this will test him. He's a long way out. He kicks from about 55. Low trajectory kick. Mitchell's taken the mark. That was a clever mark. He was the man behind. He used his body in the air. And he's juggled it about 25 metres out, about 10 metres in from the boundary line in the left full forward pocket.
Well, it's not often you can say that Barry Mitchell was just too big for his opponent, but he was on that occasion. Ricky Jackson was his opposite.
Mitchell goes goalward, looks pretty good. He puts it through. The Swans are coming back.
Only 2 points in it, but it's Melbourne going forward now. They're driven up by Newport. Dennis Carroll with a paddock to move in. Out wide. Looks for and finds Lockman. Well shepherded by Tony Morwood. Campbell was late on the scene. Down to Coleman. Dummies the hand pass. Goes for the kick. It's a shocker. It'll be a free kick to Melbourne, and Jimmy Steins will take it. Steins just up from the back pocket. He's indicating where he'd like to kick it. Some short work there, and Lovett takes the mark. Done an excellent job on Morwood since moved there late in the first quarter. Morwood was the star early. Johnson. We won't hear the applause for that mark with a crook ear. Newport again. They're going the short way. But good long kicks would have done just that. Now it's come unstuck. Williams tries to get the hand pass out. Has to do it again himself. Some soccer tactics. Tried to get it to corner. His opposite number 11, Steins, beats him to it. Newport spears the pass to Jackson. A little bit low for him. Dean. Big pack out there. Yates robes it beautifully. Here's a goal. If he's accurate, he's not. One behind.
It was a bad miss there by Graham Yates. A good pick-up. He ran into that open goal. Should have steadied. He's an experienced footballer now, Graham Yates. And he should have summed that situation up a little bit better than what he did.
Mistakes will hurt you now.
Could prove costly. The Swans kicked a lot of behinds earlier in the game, though. Didn't make the most of their opportunities. And David Bolton breaks clear as Wilson licks the wounds.
High kick towards the centre of the ground. Fisted away by Lovett. Forward of the pack, White. It comes somehow to Williams, who gets it to Coleman. Good hand pass. Coleman long. Davis in best position. Could have almost got the free. Well played by Hughes. He thumps it out. Lockman falls on top of it. Johnson into Davis, trying to back through his Higgins. In goes Stretch. Down he goes, and the umpires decided he was taken around the leg. Stephen Stretch getting the free kick. 3 points the difference. Melbourne lead. Midway through the term. Stretch, a long kick around the outer side. No contest. Coleman goes up and takes the mark. Coleman plays on. Will send it back into the forward line. Morwood surrounded by Melbourne players. Knocked away by Hughes. Taken by Bolton. Bolton twisting and turning. Pulls it back. It's a high floater. Cordner is kept out of the contest. Now what's the decision? It's going to be a Melbourne mark.
He was shepherded out, wasn't he?
Yes, he was. If they're consistent with that, they've got to see them all. Steins is getting the mark. Watch Cordner off the ball. In fact, we haven't got a replay, but 50 metres now. And for all it went after, that's the correct decision. So Steins comes up to the middle.
And there's the free kick and the 50 metres.
No doubt about it. Steins goes in short. Bailey takes the mark. The shepherding happened a little earlier. It's Newport, actually, who swings it out wide, and Campbell takes the mark. Campbell inside 50.
Great play from Campbell, playing at centre half back.
What can he do from here? This will be a very handy goal. Campbell, plenty of distance. That's a magnificent kick from there. Campbell gets the goal.
Now 9 points the difference after Campbell's first goal. He's had a fairly quiet afternoon. Morwood dives on top of the ball. Picked up by Lovett. Lovett's kick out towards the centre wing position. Now 2 Swans players are out there. Cordy and Roberts. Jackson's after them. Well, they didn't put their best foot forward on that occasion. It's out of bounds. They should have been able to get it forward. Not so. And Melbourne finishing the better or the fitter. Maybe a bit of both. Mitchell. Swans perhaps just haven't got enough runners. He ultimately gets boot the ball after he nearly lost it. Williams, which way to go? Farms it out wide. A throw, says the umpire. Alan Johnson will take the free kick. Johnson short of right centre wing, spiral punt kick. Gets plenty of distance. Carter got two hands to it. Spinning out is Dean, who could just about kick this. And instead he's gone for a short pass to Yates, and it was a gem.
Gutsy mark.
And Yates moving quite well despite the bandage. Obviously not as badly affected by a knock on the thigh as was Murphy, who had to leave the field.
Warren Dean shows remarkable agility just before delivering that ball. He can spin left or right, went onto his left side, and a beautiful pass to the diving Yates as Alan Johnson goes off, and coming back on, Anthony Lovell.
35 metres out. Goldenpire does not have to move. That's another one. So things not looking too good at the moment for Sydney, and Tommy Hafey quickly goes for the phone as Johnson goes off the ground again. This time he walks off, so that's good news, but obviously he would still be feeling a little sore.
And that's what Melbourne wanted. Great courage in by Graham Yates, because he ran into the unknown, that diving mark, despite the opposition of the player coming the other way.
15 points the difference. And so the Swans need 3 goals. Now a promising forward move perhaps as the free kick is going Williams' way. No, it's not. It's going Carroll's way. Now he handballed after a free kick, did he? We might see a bounce in the centre.
Melbourne should make a change. Spalding now playing on the ball, should go to the back pocket, and Steins should come onto the ball. O'Dwyer's resting in the forward pocket.
No, it's going to be a free kick to Williams. Glad we got that sorted out. Michael Burns arguing with the umpire, but I wouldn't, Michael. He's going to ball it up. I was right the first time. He went for the hand pass. So indicated the umpire, Brian Bullis. Knocked out by Spalding. Carroll gets bumped. Is able to turn around quickly. Corner. Oh dear, should have taken that one. It bounced off his chest. When I did that when I was playing football, they called me pirate because they said I had a sunken chest. And Sean White comes up limping. Well, the trainers are going to be busy this week at these two clubs, aren't they?
It's that sort of game.
Spalding jockeys for the front position, but loses it out to Coleman. Morwood through some heavy traffic to Lockman. They need a goal here, the Swans. Davis at the back has to beat 4. And the ball will be rushed through. Yes, 4-1 behind. And so the difference is 14 points in favour of the visitors. Ron Thomas and Tommy Hafey looking a little worried, as well they might. Danny Hughes to bring the ball back into play.
14 points the difference. About 8 minutes remaining as Hughes goes towards the outer side. Inside 8 minutes now. Was there interference to Carroll? Now a good mark taken over the top out there by Wilson. Just enough time for the Swans to get back and win this if Melbourne think that last goal had won it for them. Dangerous time really for the side in front. A test of their discipline and their composure. This is Newport on the outer side. He plays on, gets easily around the man on the mark. Long towards half forward, waiting behind Jackson. Here's danger. Jackson 35 metres out and closing, and that should be the game breaker. After Jackson's third goal, Melbourne have slipped away to lead by 20 points. Jackson again. Yates towards half forward. Well played by Yates. Pulls it back too far. Cordy is favoured by the kick, and he takes the mark on his chest. Well, hasn't been for lack of endeavour by Cordy or this man. In fact, the defence has played pretty well today that the Swans trail. Well played by Eishold with discipline. Got it forward to Stretch. Beautiful kick looking for Healy. Too much carry, but drifting in behind. The mark is taken by Lovell. So Melbourne now finishing over the top. The spirit has ebbed out of the Sydney Swans. It's been that sort of energy sapping game. One side had to crack, and now Lovell a chance to really thrust home the advantage for the Demons.
Good mark by the 17-year-old Melbourne High School student from Glenorchy.
Lovell gets the goal.
That would be just about the sealer, Donald, I would suggest.
And Melbourne seem to be just that little bit fresher. I realise the ball's running for them too, but some of those Sydney players just look a little bit stale. Maybe they do train a little bit hard up here.
Well, the Swans with the walking wounded at 3/4 time, we noticed who was going to finish the fitter. The question was asked. and certainly so far has been Melbourne. A difference of 26 points now. Jackson again, full of running certainly. Gets it into the open spaces, albeit for a short time. Lockman had his kick smothered. Thrown out initially, now it comes to Jackson. Bolton getting pinned when he didn't have the ball. Going in solidly was Spalding. Bolton wins out to centre wing. Well, even Tui's got a bandage now. No, it's Thripp. He looks a little proppy as well. Stretch, beautiful spin out. And the pass is on, effective. Healy, Lyon, could be another one. Slightly off target, one behind.
Of course, they're playing for top spot now, Pete.
They are, yes. Percentage will be one of only 2 unbeaten sides. The other, of course, is Collingwood. 27 points the difference. Percentage important. Spalding and Byrne. Now to Tui on the run, left centre wing. Chips it short. Morwood tries to mark it. It's it back to Coleman. He's been a great trier all day. That'll be unfortunately for the Swans in the back. And Lovett will take the free kick at half back. And put Tony Morwood right out of business. Eishold in front. They all missed that one. Eishold actually is first to recover. And then knocks it further forward for Campbell. Past Newport. Cordy. He has played a tremendous game. Mark, free kick, whatever. Tui, left centre wing. We're playing time on now. And he delivers it to Coleman. Looking for 50 metres against Big O'Dwyer, but of course none there. Glenn Coleman inside the square. Cordner, missed one. Might have been a little bit more difficult than it appeared here. Healy goes for the boundary line. Davis and Cordner in pursuit. In the back against Cordner. Hasn't been a great day for him. Spent most of it on the bench, certainly. Came back onto the field in the final quarter, but has not been able to contribute a great deal. Eishold's kick to centre wing, looking for Wilson, getting edged out of it as Dennis Carroll. The free kick fairly obvious.
Well, Brian Wilson is starting to play from behind just that little bit too much. He took a mark earlier, but now in a little bit of trouble.
Ball across half forward. Mitchell goes in, was held without it, and he'll take the free kick. We got a glimpse of Alan Johnson there. He didn't look too good. Barry Mitchell has tried hard. Trying to kick start, I think, there. Just running on the spot, Barry Mitchell. Not much left. Could kick a goal from here. He's only about 40 metres from goal when he takes this kick. Looks pretty good. Mitchell steers it through. A belated goal for the Swans. 16-13 to 12-16. John Northey, I think, knows his side has won.
Yeah, their first win up here too, Dennis.
It's been a struggle, hasn't it? There's Alan Johnson again.
It's a good kick by the little fellow. 2 goals in this quarter. 3.5 minutes approximately to play. As Mitchell kicked his second goal. 2-1 today for Barry Mitchell.
We're back in the centre. 21 points the difference. Melbourne lead. Socket off the ground by Healy. Only as far as Carter. Byrne gives it across to Williams. Williams goes long towards half forward. White does very well. Could have almost got the free kick. Pushing it through his Thripp. He's almost on one leg. Thripp can't follow through with a kick as a result and misses to the far side. That right knee is bothering him. It's not the knee itself. I'd suggest a strain there. Otherwise, I doubt he'd be out there.
Otherwise, they'll be plucking them from the crowd, won't they?
Here's Hughes towards the outer side. Campbell's in front. Tries to knock on. Bailey does very well to Campbell. He runs around the outer side wing to Lovell. And proceeds to Shepherd. Good work. Lovell goes down towards the forward pocket, and the mark is taken in front by Spalding. Not paid. Jarred free. This is Campbell. Followed up. Well done. Hooks it across his body down towards the pocket. Henwood was up looking to spoil. Suddenly found it in his arms. The hand pass comes across and is centered. Wilson gave it across to the man right on the boundary down there, Jackson, who pulled it back and stretches mark only about 15 metres out on a very slight angle.
The most It amazes me that not more league sides do that. It's a little bit similar to the soccer situation. When you get the ball in soccer, you always bring it back to the centre to open up the goal face. And Ricky Jackson did the right thing there. Impossible angle, but brought it back, opened up the goals, and Stephen Stretch ran into the space.
Corner kick.
Best and fairest last season, he gets the goal. Stephen Stretch then, his first of the afternoon. It's going to be a little misleading when you look at the score line tomorrow, 17-13 to 12-17. It's been a real tough game of football. It didn't break open until about the 19-minute mark of the last quarter.
Well, there's Stretch drifting down from the half-back flank. I have seen Stephen play better games today, but he has capitalised on well. And it's good to see the Melbourne players still running late in the game.
Thumping punch away by O'Dwyer. Up to Bailey and turned to half forward. Healy, speaking of soccer terminology, the soccer to kick off the ground. Didn't really work though. Now comes back to Carter. Out to Bolton. Well, he's been getting the raspberry from the crowd since that fracas in the second quarter. We don't know whether any numbers have been taken. Maybe the emergency umpire did take some names. Stretch, Hughes, out it goes to Lovett. As I said before, an excellent game from him. He really has taken Tony Morwood apart since he was moved on to him late in the first quarter. Morwood played an excellent game in the first term. Looked as though he was going to be a match winner. Now, Lyon from half forward. Don't tell me he's limping as well. No, he just got boot trouble. As I said, the trainers of both teams are going to be very busy during the week. Maybe the Swans in particular, although I didn't like the look of Alan Johnson's ear, which was rather nasty. Now Lyon has kicked, what have you got, Den? 4 for him?
4, yep.
4 goals to Gary Lyon. A chance for 5. Need to be a good kick though from there. He's on the square. Spiral punt kick. Tremendous distance with that one. He's put it about 20 rows back, but it's out of bounds. So a free kick will go to the Swans captain, Dennis Carroll. He certainly tried hard to lift the flagging spirits of his team today. Early on, it looked as though he was going to have success. Lock at left half-back. Wearing Warwick Kappa's old jumper. He certainly could have used him in attack today. Dwyer fumbles, but Bailey does likewise. Dwyer some soccer tactics. This could be the FA Cup here. Campbell. Eishold. Moves it off out to Newport. And waiting behind was Carroll, but it didn't carry that far, unfortunately. And Dean, for him, or anybody, well within kicking distance.
Melbourne can do no wrong at the moment. Have players running by, players by themselves, and if there is a missed kick, the Melbourne players retrieve.
Well, there's the siren to end the game. And what's the result of that? It's a poster. So 1 point to Melbourne, but the Demons running out fairly easy winners. Dean, 6 points for the day. Well, one side crack, very similar to what we saw yesterday at Cardinia Park, Essendon and Geelong. A titanic struggle for 3.5 quarters before the Cats ran out winners. And today it was the Demons that ran out. On the scoreboard it seems easy winners, but that's not the case. They're pretty happy, but the Swans didn't really fight it right out. I think, Dennis, they just ran out of numbers and fit men.
I think so, but when you consider that they trailed by 19 points at quarter time, Melbourne have done very well to win by 27 points. They really did turn around the game. What was it at quarter time? 4-8 to 2-1. So they've worked at it hard, and as you can see, they're absolutely delighted. Their record away from Melbourne isn't a good one. They've won in Sydney for the first time. They're very much together as a club, Melbourne, at the present time, and they joined Collingwood at the top of the table. They trailed Collingwood coming into today by about 4%, so it'll be pretty tight up there tonight. Just like the old days, Melbourne and Collingwood at the top of the table.
17-14, 116 Melbourne winning their first match in Sydney to the Sydney Swans, 12-17, 89. Look at some highlights.